Hey guys, here is another video of another LED street light. I am just kind of showing some that are used in Australia and also maybe I guess a bit of a review of them. Not a paid review, just what I think of them, how they're designed and all that. And to be honest, this is going to be the worst one yet. And it's not because it looks a little weird. I don't like the design of it that much. But I do not like the serviceability of this thing. It is horrendous. It uses these completely ridiculous screws I can't even access because some of them are stripped. So the driver and everything is actually in here. So unfortunately, we're not actually going to be able to see the LED driver today because it's in here and I can't get in there. So these fittings is made by Aldridge Traffic Systems here in Australia. They exist in the UK too. However, I'm not actually sure if this exact model exists. This is the Aldridge PLED, which stands for pedestrian LED, which these are used for minor roads, parks, laneways, stuff like that here in Australia. And category V is for main roads, like roads with speed bumps, freeways, stuff like that. So, this LED is okay looking. They do last a fair while, I've noticed, but they often, when they fail, they just glow dim. And there is a few issues that I'm going to run through that I find with these LEDs. But, we'll get started off with what I don't like about it first, and what's changed with this to the Mark II. So, this is the Mark I, which is one of the last ones. LED 17. I'm not sure what the C stands for because it really shouldn't be there. 2019 is the year. So the older ones used to have the LED chips spaced out far, but the new ones have them all crammed together in the middle. So you'd have that panel there, them there, moved over close to the middle and towards the middle, not spaced out so much. Another thing I don't like is the bolts on these. They always are stuck. Like, always. There's no two ways about that. They're always stuck. So they're really annoying to mount, but the spigot mounting is quite big, I guess, which is beneficial for some different poles and outreaches, but overall, no. Another problem I do not like with it is around the photocell. This is plastic. This is just, no. They often warp, they go all yucky, they get water into the photocell because there's a gap there. I just don't like them there. It's cheaper design than the Slovenia Street LED, because that has a metal ring around it to protect the photocell socket. This does not have that. This is just plastic. It is a semi-cut-off version, which is kind of crap, because that's the best they'll do. This thing was used when I got it. It actually still does work, because I just tested it before. But it's not new, so we're not going to get a perfectly accurate view of it. The heat shrink on the top is like that. They have a lot of heat sink, even where the LEDs aren't. So this is where the driver is in there. We can't access it. And you don't actually feed the wires through that bottom bit, so this is a bit difficult to show, but it has this clip on the side. So what you want to do is you want to turn it to the left, and it lifts up. Pretty interesting, but also something I don't like, because the birds tend to love it. They're always flinging open like that, letting water in here, and I think that's why the drain hole's there, because the drain hole comes through down there. So in here's the wiring. They've actually used ferrule crimps in here, which is unlike Slovenia. They did not do that. So there's a bit more care taken with the wiring, I guess. Unlike the Philips, it is earthed, not double insulated, even though it was metal for some reason. The terminal block is raised, but I don't like it really, because it's not really easy. I know you shouldn't be doing this live, but some linesmen change them out live. And what happens is it can short and all that. So it's, well, I could do that with the street LED, but this one it's got to go through and then up over, and then you've got to secure with a zip tie, it's supposed to, but Clearly they hadn't, because it's a waste of time. Also, the terminal blocks are very big on the Aldridges compared to the street LEDs, and it's not needed. It's just a bit weird why they're so big, because they're not designed to be group switched here in Australia anyways. Another thing you also might notice, this has gone yellow. This is plastic. This is not even metal, this is plastic. This, as you can see, it was grey. Now it's all yellow and yuck. So to secure it back down, you want to make sure the latch goes under there. Then you want to spin it to the right until it's tight. Push it down. Now that won't come off. And they also wrote ATS on there. Aldridge Traffic Systems is what it stands for. See, I wish I could show you the driver, but they generally use Meanwell branded ones. Not the Samsung like the Slovenia was using. So let's test it. Also, the drain hole does tend to get filled up with dirt and stuff. So these eventually do fail because of that reason. Right, let's turn it on. I think the power meter's still broken, so yeah, it is. Alright, so here it is working. All the LED chips work as well. You can also see it says Aldridge Traffic Systems in there too. I do not deem anything on this replaceable, serviceable, or anything like that. I actually find it completely ridiculous. And just a little secret, which is not really a secret anymore, Aldridge has been sued in Melbourne, Victoria, over debt. If you want to look that up, you can look that up. It is public information. They have been sued publicly because of debt. And Aldridge products, I have a PLED, they're very heavy and poorly designed, I'd say. Alright, so let's take a look at the glare. Oh, yeah, that's worse than this. If you're looking at it like that's okay, that's not as bad as this, but if you slightly tilt it, that's worse than the street LED. That's horrendous. That's, like, if you're coming in on an angle, like a slight angle, right? If you look at it on an angle, if it was there, you're not directly looking into the LEDs. That's just how the semi-cut-off visor is reflecting it, and it does not look good. They are very intense glare from these LEDs, and it's not really good because it gives LEDs in general a bad reputation for having bad glare. But if it was aero screen, it should be okay. But also, I think a part of the problem with the aero screen ones is, you see how far the LED panel is placed back in there? The light spread is horrendous on the aero screen one as well. So this LED as a whole is, I'm not going to say terrible, but it's not the best I've seen. I'm sure there are worse ones out there, such as the no-name brand ones off eBay and stuff, but for a reputable manufacturer like Aldridge, what was reputable, this isn't the best quality light. Alright, we're going to turn it off now. We're going to have a look if it's compatible with Zaga. I could probably just leave the LEDs off in the shed. Let's have a look. Okay, yep, it is compatible with, not Zaga, sorry, it's compatible with smart NEMA control cells. But how they're going to fit is my question, because they're bigger than the shorting cap. So this is another poor design, because they're actually bigger than the shorting cap. Because this is just a standard shorting cap. They're bigger, so how is this going to work? Because this is going to be in the way. So I don't think Aldridge thought through of their smart system compatibility with the PLEDs. I do know Victoria have installed smart cells on them, but they are longer ones, and I think that's the reason. Because you can actually buy them they're the same length as this. They're just a lot wider, and it would be wider than this. Maybe they changed this down the track, I'm not sure. But anyway, thanks for watching.